Welcome to Garage Built Strongman. I haven't done very many videos this year. Lot going on, and my focus was more on my event training and that sort of stuff. And making videos while I'm trying to train and stuff really got in the way, as well as the home stuff. And there's been a lot going on with that. Both my kids have moved back in. My oldest has moved back in with his wife. They want to save up to buy a house, so it made the most sense for them to move back in with mom and dad. Fortunately, we have the space. My last couple of videos were probably more to do with, at least training videos were more to do with my training towards Ontario Provincials. So, trained for Ontario Provincials, and I went to Ontario Provincials and I won Ontario Provincials. I don't know how many more times I can say Ontario Provincials. So, from there, I went to Nationals, and again, I busted my ass, trained extremely hard. And though I didn't win the event, I did very well, and I took second place to some very strong competitors. The gentleman that beat me by 1 point, I just recently found out that he actually went to OSG last year and was top 10 in the Masters 50 plus class, which is now what I'm competing in. Um, from that, I earned an invite to Arnold's in the spring in March, which after this event coming up, which I'll explain in a minute, I will be training towards. We don't know what the events or anything are, but it's the beginning of March, I believe the 3rd is what was said. So, and that will be the goal. And then again, I'll be looking at an event to qualify me for the provincials again, which won't be a big deal. There's not too many of us in the Ontario provincials, so I shouldn't have too much trouble getting by the provincials, putting me into nationals. I'm going to bust my ass to get through nationals, and hopefully maybe I can make that top spot on the podium. But then I also have an invite to compete at Worlds. Um, and I'm looking forward to competing at that. That is going to be extremely tough. Looking at the competitors and the caliber in that, I mean, it's the best of the best of the best. So that's what's going on. Competition for 2025 and leading into 2026, and it's been very good for me. An injury in the early part of the year, I thought I was done, but I managed to work through it. So that leads me to the next thing. And let me tell you about the next thing. Let's talk about OSG, World's and World's Strongest Woman. By now, everybody that's into strongman has heard about Jammie Booker. And I'm not sure if I'm saying the name right. I'm not sure if it's Jammie, given the way it's spelled, or Jamie. Uh, if it offends anybody, I apologize. At any rate, I've watched lots of videos. I've seen all the comments and stuff online, and I'm just going to give you my take real quick. I really don't understand the thought process that was behind it. Here is a trans athlete. Now, say what you will about trans athletes. I don't care about any of that sort of stuff. But given everything that's gone on the last, say, 5 years, where we've had trans athletes in the Olympics with the swimming, the boxing, and I think there's two or three other events where they found someone to be a trans athlete that has hidden it. I question why this athlete decided to go ahead and compete in World's Strongest Woman, knowing full well that they are a man or biological male. Let's put it that way. Now, you knew what you were going in, and Mitchell Hooper said he doesn't believe that Jamie did it purposely. That it wasn't there was no malice involved. But I find that hard to believe. I think this athlete knew exactly what they were doing, and it was done purposefully. Now, it could have been done much better, maybe not to that person's liking. You could have gone to the strongman federations, OSG, and you could have said, listen, I'm a trans athlete. I wish to compete. Can we make a provisional title, a provisional class, or something along that line? Because trans athletes are showing up. Say what you will if you don't like them, if you do like them, however it is, I think most of us and almost all of us will agree that trans athletes do not belong competing against women. It's an unfair advantage. Many people probably won't like that comment, and I just don't care. It's an unfair advantage, um, especially when that athlete is 6'3", 6'5". I'm unclear exactly how tall this athlete was, and I've heard almost 400 pounds, which I don't know either. I'm not going to get into it. But you chose to compete against biological women, being a biological male. You chose to hide it, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. The problem isn't that you are a trans athlete. The problem is you hid it and hope to get away with it, and it didn't. So now you're going to be blackballed regardless of what you do moving forward. Like so many other trans athletes are now going to be in that same position. So why did you not step forward saying, "Hey, I'm a trans athlete"? You know, 10 years ago, World's Strongest Woman, you didn't even know about it. You know, they didn't know that the women competed in strongman. Nobody wanted to see that. Now, I would hazard a guess that there's a lot more people that are interested in watching World's Strongest Woman, or as many people that want to see the women compete as well as the men. You know, 5 years ago, there wasn't really many people competing in the Masters 50 plus. Now we have 50 plus heavy and lightweight classes. You know, there's just so many people in the Masters division between being 40 and up. So there's always room for new classes. There's always room for new competitors. So there was an option here, a chance for you to start a conversation and maybe get something going, because out there, there's other people that may be thinking the same thing but are afraid to step forward. And you could have made this easier for those people. Now, many people say that they go to the gym because it helps them unload, de stress. You know, it helps with their mental abilities and all this sort of stuff. So why in the world would we not think that these trans athletes do not have as much, probably more on their mind, being a trans athlete, knowing they're entering a world where they probably may not be very well received? I'm just saying, you had an opportunity here and you blew it by lying about what you've done. There's always an opportunity to do things better, and this was a mistake. This was a huge mistake. And I know Strongman Corp will not let trans women compete against biological women, but if there was an option where there was more than one or two competitors, well, I guess it would always have to be more than one anyway. um, they may consider putting a class in, giving you a chance to showcase what you do. That's what we're all attempting to do. We want to showcase our abilities, and you know, it's disappointing that you chose the route you did. And I hope moving forward, some other people can take note of this and maybe think ahead, and maybe not be so stupid about it. Maybe that's a little harsh. And I know there's more harsh things being said on the internet. I've heard all the comments. One of the ones that actually caught my attention, if I might, is people saying, "Oh, well, you couldn't compete as a man, so you went in and competed as trans." From what I can see, what I can gather, what I've read, Jammie was trans before they were an athlete, before they were into strongman. So did this person get into strongman as an outlet? This is what I'm saying. It's very possible. So I don't know, guys. I know I don't have a big following, but because of what it is, I may get a few views on this one. So be it. Throw a comment in the comments section and let me know what you think about my idea. Like, should a trans athlete come forward and ask permission from whatever sanctioning body it is to maybe give them a provisional class um, and open it up to other people that are interested in competing like that, uh, you're gonna get backlash. It's gonna happen. I can't help that. But everything that happens moving forward, again, like the women's classes, they just slowly became more popular because more and more women were seeing what other women were doing and saying, "Hey, I can do that too." And now look at it. World's Strongest Woman is huge. And I mean, Andrea Thompson is an absolute beast. The numbers she put up competing at World's Strongest Woman, she would have won it. No problem. Hands down. As a matter of fact, a week or a week and a half later, she went to, you'll forgive me, I think it was Singapore to compete in another event. And she took second place. She had no time to really recover. I mean, most of us athletes, when we compete, we need a few days, not to mention the flight times, the jet lag, and all these other things. Now, she is an absolute beast. And so many of these women that compete in World's Strongest Man, my apologies, World's Strongest Woman, are absolute monstrous athletes. And they deserve that recognition. And to have somebody to come in like Jammie Booker did, it takes away from the sport and it takes away from so many people that were deserving. Andrea should have first, the second place, or the third person should have been second, the fourth, and so on and so forth. You had a person that was in 11th that should have been 10th, that should have had a chance to compete for a podium. There's so many things that you ruined for so many other people because of your selfishness. And that sort of thing I can't condone. And I think so many other people can't condone it either. But I think there's a chance that something better can become of this. I don't know. We'll see. Throw a comment down there, and I don't know. Let's try not to be too harsh. You know, let's be kind. We don't need any more nastiness or any more horrible comments about any of that shit. We just don't need it. You know, we all just want to have a someplace we can call our own and a space for our own and a space to uh, get our frustrations out. And again, it's an opportunity for somebody else and some other people too. And I just don't want to see any more harshness about it. It's not really needed. It won't get anything done. So, guys, I hope this is a quick enough video. I got to do a little bit of training here. I got an event coming up this weekend. It's a record breakers. I've got a axle clean and press, deadlift, and heavy sandbag for max weight. So I'm just doing a quick light workouts, some deadlifts, and so on and so forth to keep the body moving in that. So I hope you like this video. I'm going to try and get some more videos out, especially going forward for Arnold's. And I hope you guys come back for more. Thank you a lot for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye.